The words Frank Beard open-casket funeral have already started drawing attention, but there is an important question behind them. What will the legendary ZZ Top drummer's final farewell actually look like? Frank Beard passed away at the age of 77 on August 17, 2026, while receiving hospice care at his ranch in Richmond, Texas. His family was reportedly with him during his final moments, following health problems that had recently kept him away from touring. His death brings an extraordinary chapter of rock music to an end. Beard spent more than 5 decades behind the drums of ZZ Top, helping create a sound that became recognizable around the world. For millions of fans, however, his passing is more than the loss of a famous drummer. It represents the end of an era for one of rock music's most iconic lineups. Naturally, many fans are now asking about his funeral. Will there be a public ceremony? Will there be an open casket? Will photographs from the service be released? At this point, those questions do not have confirmed answers. There has been no reliable official announcement confirming that Frank Beard will have an open casket funeral, and no verified images have revealed what his final ceremony will look like. What has been confirmed is that Beard was surrounded by family at the end of his life. That detail is especially meaningful because he was someone who generally kept his personal life away from the intense spotlight that followed ZZ Top throughout its career. While Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill became instantly recognizable because of their appearances, Frank Beard had a different kind of presence. He was often more comfortable letting his music speak for him. There was also an interesting irony in his image. Despite being part of a band famous for its enormous beards, Beard was the one member of the classic trio who did not have one. But behind the famous sunglasses, guitars, cars, and larger-than-life ZZ Top image was a drummer who played a crucial role in the band's success. Beard joined Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill in 1969, creating the lineup that would remain together for decades. That partnership eventually took the group from Texas clubs to massive international stages. Their music reached multiple generations, and in 2004, ZZ Top was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Throughout that journey, Beard remained a constant presence behind the drum kit. His playing was never about stealing the spotlight. Instead, his strength came from timing, control, and consistency. His drumming created the foundation underneath some of ZZ Top's most recognizable songs, including Grange, Tush, Sharp Dressed Man, Legs, and Gimme All Your Lovin'. That is one reason his death feels so significant. Fans are not simply saying goodbye to one musician. They are saying goodbye to one of the 3 people who created a musical identity that remained almost unchanged for generations. The loss is even more emotional when you remember what happened to Dusty Hill. Hill, Beard's longtime friend and bandmate, died in 2021. After Hill's death, Billy Gibbons and Beard continued carrying the ZZ Top legacy forward. Now Beard has passed away as well, leaving Gibbons as the only surviving member of the classic trio. For longtime fans, that reality is difficult to process. These 3 musicians had spent decades recording together, performing together, traveling together, and building a career that seemed almost impossible to end. Even as musical trends changed, ZZ Top remained. That consistency made it easy for fans to believe that the classic lineup would always be there. But during the final period of Beard's life, there were indications that his health had become a serious concern. His condition affected his ability to tour, and other musicians had reportedly stepped in when he could not perform. ZZ Top also canceled performances shortly before his death. Then came the heartbreaking news that Frank Beard had died. Billy Gibbons later paid tribute to his longtime friend and musical partner, remembering him as an innovative drummer and a true Texan. His tribute also highlighted just how important Beard's rhythm was to the identity of ZZ Top. That contribution can sometimes be overlooked because the band was so visually recognizable. People immediately think of the long beards, sunglasses, guitars, classic cars, and Texas style. But the music depended on something much deeper: the chemistry between Gibbons, Hill, and Beard. Beard provided the heartbeat. His drumming gave the other musicians the foundation they needed. Remove that foundation, and the importance of his role becomes much easier to understand. Frank Beard's journey began long before ZZ Top became a worldwide name. Born in Texas in 1949, he developed an interest in drums as a teenager and became involved in the Texas music scene. During those early years, he crossed paths with Dusty Hill, and their musical connection eventually helped lead to the formation of ZZ Top alongside Billy Gibbons. The band did not become an overnight success. It took years of performing and recording before they established themselves. But once ZZ Top developed its distinctive blues rock sound, Beard's drumming became an essential part of it. The group eventually moved into a new phase during the MTV era. Albums such as Eliminator introduced ZZ Top to an even larger international audience, combining their blues and boogie roots with unforgettable music videos and a distinctive visual identity. Through all of those changes, Beard remained behind the drums. He did not need to be the most outspoken member of the band. His consistency was enough. Away from music, he generally maintained a quieter lifestyle than many famous rock stars. He spent time in Texas and was known for his interests in family, golf, and racing. He was married to Debbie Meredith and had 3 children, including twin sons Rory and Nico. That private side of his personality is important when considering the questions surrounding his funeral. When a famous musician dies, fans naturally want details. They want to know where the funeral will take place, whether there will be a public memorial, who will attend, and whether photographs will be released. But those expectations do not necessarily reflect what the family wants. Frank Beard's final days were spent in hospice care with people close to him. His death was not a public spectacle. It happened in a private setting, surrounded by family. For that reason, it is important not to assume that an open-casket funeral or public viewing will take place. Unless Beard's family or an official representative confirms those arrangements, claims about an open casket or funeral photographs remain unverified. Fans may be curious, but curiosity should not be confused with confirmed information. The facts that are currently known are simple. Beard had been dealing with health problems. His condition affected his ability